welcome to another Tuesday Talk series at the Wind City Investors Club. I'm your host, Real Estate Investor Sab. It's the no bullshit, no holds barred, ask anything you want and hopefully get that answered type real estate investing talk show. And today I thought we'd start back in action with our most famous and our most sought after topic of discussion, what's happening in the Windsor market. And to join me and give their expert opinion, of course, our two local real estate friendly realtors, Aditya Soma and Jeremy McGraw. Welcome, guys. How's it going?
Thanks for having me.
Going great, Sab. Thanks for having us.
Awesome. Usually I get into detail of what's keeping you guys awake at night, just to hear what's going on in the background. It's been a long time since we talked. Windsor has gone up. I heard some rumors that it's going down, but people are still buying left, right, and center. I know I'm busy as hell. I know you guys are busy as hell. So let's jump right into it and we can talk about all of that, okay? While we are talking numbers. Sound good?
Yeah, sounds great.
Okay, awesome. So as we always do, I'm going to share my screen over here. We have some slides for those listening on. Guys, if you are listening online live, let me share my screen here. Be sure to ask your questions and get them answered, okay? We're talking about the Windsor market. So I'm going to let Aditya start off the conversation. Aditya, tell the people who have never been to Windsor, what's Windsor about and what we're doing here.
Awesome. So if you don't know where is Windsor, just take 401, just go west, you will end in Windsor. So that's where the Windsor is. Of course, beautiful city. If you have no idea, it's just right off of the Detroit River, and you can see the Detroit downtown. That's the picture. That's where you can see the Detroit, beautiful Detroit across the board. So that's a huge attraction, and also huge advantage for Windsor, because pretty much like Detroit is coming up, and if you guys have been following all this auto newses, I'm super excited that it's going to be in next 10 years again, Detroit will be again the best city. I feel Michigan in general, where all this electrical automotive the manufacturing is happening, so which means also growth potential in Windsor as well, because it's literally we are neighboring cities. Lot of opportunities for Windsor. So, and if you don't know, Windsor has best weather comparative to Toronto. A lot of Ontario cities, Windsor do have a.
What does that mean? Best weather.
We are pretty hot comparative to Ontario.
We are Florida compared to the rest of you guys in Ontario.
Yeah, exactly.
Hot, man. It is hot over here. Oh my God, we had what was it? 82 degrees. Like consistency this week. It's hot. It's hot for sure. Loving it. So,
and also it's a good city that comes with big city amenities with the Detroit, and also have still a smaller city, not like too small where you cannot find anything. It's like 350,000 plus population where you can literally drive from one spot to another, and in Windsor within 15 minutes. So that's a great advantage, especially if you're in Windsor working from home, or if you're working in Windsor, you can literally reduce your traffic, your time stay in traffic. A lot of people who live in bigger cities, they face this problem hugely because they lose your almost 2 hours of your span a day in traffic.
So no spending 2 hours on the QEW or the Gardner Expressway or wherever, right? No spending an hour and a half crunched up in a train, trying to get to work every day, right? I mean, obviously the situation has changed a little bit with COVID and working from home. But still,
another thing, many people don't know that Windsor have University of Windsor and St. Clair College. Looks like some programs are starting up from September and some programs are starting up from January next year. So looks like slowly they're of course not as in a full force that before COVID. Definitely COVID kind of impacted on that part, which we can talk later in the presentation. But definitely that's a good advantage because it's bringing in a lot of international students, which means good for the city. They're gonna consume the groceries. They're gonna live they need a place to live. So they're going to work part-time jobs and all those things. So it's good for the city economy. And also like two big projects going on right now. So the big bridge construction. So we have already existing bridge. That's the one you see in the picture here. And we have a tunnel, but now they're building another bridge exactly where 401 ends. That new bridge gonna start. It's already the construction started. So that's a big project. And also mega hospital. That's something Savio is super excited about. So which
Absolutely.
is
I just want to add two things on that, Aditya, if you allow me. So,
yeah, please.
You talked about Detroit being so close. A lot of people don't get it. I mean, we're here trying to talk about Windsor, but why do we bring Detroit? And that is very, very important fact, because Windsor and Detroit, no matter we are two different countries, two different cities, we are intrinsically linked to each other, right? Not just from automotive and the growth of automotive and the automotive industry, but you talk about the new bridge. Why are we building a new bridge? Why are these two cities building a new bridge? The Detroit-Windsor border is the biggest volume of commercial trade of any border in North America, right? So there's a lot of traffic that goes back and forth. The two crossings that we have right now just cannot sustain that amount of traffic and the growth projections for commercial trade. So if you're getting fruits, vegetables, any kind of groceries that is coming from the US or even from Mexico or South America, it's more than likely crossing right here on this border. So the trucking industry is massive, right? There's a lot of traffic going back and forth. Okay, so that's one point. I want to talk about the bridge, or the new bridge. It's not just, okay, we're having a new bridge for the hell of it, and let's, because everything else is falling apart. No, it's really to address the extra volume, right? And if you go down 401, by the way, so if you're coming out of Windsor, going into Toronto, going west to east or east to west, you'll find a lot of construction on the 401. Why do you think that's happening? And it's all the way up to Windsor. If you come to Chatham, for example, the roads are getting expanded. The 401 is getting expanded. The reason for that is because, again, the volume of commercial activity between Detroit or US and Windsor and Canada, Ontario, is expanding. So all this traffic coming out of Windsor has to get to Ontario, to the different parts, so they can feed you guys, right? So that's why the 401 is expanding, okay? Just don't think that it's taxpayers' money for no reason. These guys have a plan and they're putting it into action. The other thing that, Aditya mentioned about is what I'm looking forward to, is that new hospital, only because I came out of Oakville, where we did have a new hospital program or creation there, right? It was right behind my house. The new hospital was being built at that point. So we're talking about Third Line and Dundas. If anybody knows Oakville area, Third Line and Dundas. North of Dundas, there was nothing. All the way to Milton, there was open farmland. There was nothing a couple of years ago. All right, within 2 or 3 years, I can't remember, well, that new hospital got built, the whole area got developed. So now we're talking about, townhomes, we're talking about condos, we're talking about smaller footprint apartments or living spaces to accommodate that growth. We had medical centers come up, umpteen number of medical centers. My family doctor at the time, we were like one of maybe, 10 or 15 clients that she had. By the time we left Oakville to move to Windsor, we had to wait 2 months before we could meet her. That's how many people that she had, right? So that's all because the new hospital came up there. Okay, and it was a mega hospital. So I can see the same thing happen here in Windsor. We need the hospital to break ground. We've passed the last stage, from what I understand, the fight back and the lawyers and all of that stuff. So we're ready to go. Once that breaks ground, I believe the development from the downtown core to that new hospital is going to explode. Right? We are already probably too late. The smart guys have bought land on the way there, and they're already developing or planning to develop. Right? What do you think, Jeremy?
A lot of good stuff mentioned right here. The one thing we touched about just briefly before the hospital there as well is the, can you guys hear me there? Perfect. You guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so we also have another bridge that's being built too, the Ambassador Bridge, or the Ambassador Bridge 2.0 there, right? That bridge is going to be twinned, and then the original one will be torn down. I think they have 5 years to tear it down. So it's basically privatized. They've been given the okay on that. They want to build it within 2 years, and then they have an additional 5 years to tear down the old one. So at one point within the next upcoming amount of years, we're going to have 3 bridges and a tunnel. The main current Ambassador Bridge, I want to say, is what, 2 lanes? No, four lanes, right? We're going to have 4 lanes, 6 lanes, 6 lanes, so 12. We're gonna have 16 lanes and then 2 lanes in the tunnel. So we're gonna have 18 lanes going in between Windsor and Detroit, which is absolutely insane. I can't tell you anywhere else that has 18 total lanes right now.
Yep.
So that's crazy there. I mean, there's a lot of upcoming stuff. And as you were mentioning with the hospital there too, you are correct. There is a lot of development and a lot of developers that have already purchased those land across, and those are going to be probably 6, 7, well, today's value. So we'll say, $800,000 houses by the time those houses are even built, maybe even more by then, who knows, right? And that was with the big fight with the current hospital too, is because a lot of the people downtown are lower income, right? And they're worried that, hey, I won't have the travel or the necessities to get to the current hospital, because right now we have 2 regional hospitals with a couple like satellite campuses here and there, like the one in the West End, the main campus, the main one being downtown, and the main one being on Lens, which is in South Walkerville, right? So there's a lot of development, and I think we're going to be talking about them in different slides here. So if you want to, begin.
For sure. Mark my words, guys. I mean, commercial, like if you're talking about medical centers, that's going to be a big thing, right? I see that, as something for those who are looking at bigger developments, looking at bigger purchases and doing different things, diversifying from the single family home or, multifamily in the duplex, triplex, fourplex, whatever. If you want to go bigger, that's something that you got to keep your eye on in Windsor, medical centers. Okay. Mark my words. Okay. Let's talk about neighborhoods, because I think most of our audience is still I don't say beginner investor, but investors who are looking at single family, multifamily type kind of deals, although we have some other opportunities as well. Okay, so we've broken it down. Basically, if you look at our map, if the map wants to move, here we go. If we look at our map here, you can see this is Windsor, guys, and we're not even taking the satellite cities. We're not talking about Lakeshore, Tecumseh, Emmitsburg, Kingsville. These are all areas now that are getting developed as well. And I think that's something that we need to start addressing very soon, Aditya and Jeremy, because we've never focused on that. We focused on Windsor, and a lot of people, we brought a lot of people to Windsor, and now all these people want to go bigger and go outside too. So maybe that's something that we're going to add in our future slides. But anyways, here's our Windsor sort of breakdown of what we're looking at. And we've kind of highlighted the areas that we talk about, okay? Because our numbers are based on this. So our numbers are up to May 2021. Obviously, we're in the middle of June now, so 2 weeks. A lot has happened in 2 weeks. So we'll give you the snapshot at the end of May and where we think it's going to go. Okay. So Aditya, is this you, Sandwich and Ojibway?
Sure, I can jump on it.
Go for it.
Yeah. So this is something I feel definitely like most underrated area, because still you can find it. A lot of people ask me can I find a home under 300,000? So this is something definitely an area where you can. So you can find a duplex for under, sorry, 1 second, guys. I have my niece here.
You got some visitors.
Yeah.
Definitely. Hey, how's it going?
She want to learn about real estate.
Yeah, beautiful. Early start.
Do you want me to just hop in?
5-10 minutes. She wants me to come out. So sorry about that, guys. So again, this is my favorite spot where I lived in this area. A lot of stigma exists in Windsor, especially a lot of old people who've been in Windsor for years. They feel like Windsor is, this west part of the Windsor is kind of rough. But personally, by living in that area, when I was brand new, I literally lived on Sandwich, on Wyandotte, the Sandwich side, and lived on Peter and South in an apartment for almost 3 years. So by living there, one thing I learned is it's not more junk area. It's more international people, international students, international families. Yes, there are some pockets. Yes, still. I would say you can find some rough parts, but most of the part of it is still international students and international families. So which means it's a good opportunity. There are more renters and you can find good cash flowing properties. So that's where it presents opportunity for cash flowing properties. It presents opportunities for especially if you're looking to get started, you have very little money, then this is the area. And you can find a lot of burst strategies, because a lot of properties in this area are old, dated, because not many properties were updated up to the current standards. So it gives you all those opportunities. Like Burr strategy investors like me, this is the place to go. Flippers, still great place, because if you're buying something under 300, 400, if the for in short term, if the market goes down, you can still hold the property and rent it out. So it's a great place, and because the prices are pretty low, with the market that is moving in the upward direction, so you have like the lower price points to go up more than the bigger properties. So that's my take on this area.
There's one thing that we never talked about in Sandwich, Aditya and Jeremy, is the fact that it has a very, very low commercial.
I actually added that this morning.
Right. Okay, you want to talk about that then?
Yeah, absolutely. There was an article, I want to say about a month or two in the paper there, and they talked about currently, I think right now, there's not a single vacancy rate on the main strip. So on Sandwich, right, you have a lot of great restaurants. There's a brewery there. There's a lot of cool little places. And I was actually having a conversation with one of my friends, and he's actually a realtor as well. We're talking about different areas that are, booming and what's kind of going on. And the Sandwich area right now, I think that we have a lot of the university students going downtown and going to the bars there, but there's still a lot of issues with downtown, which we'll get to when we talk about downtown. But as Adi was saying, in regards to Sandwich, it's stigmatized, but not in the way it should be currently. And the Sandwich area, for the most part, the main portion is very, very clean. It's a great place to go out. There's a lot of great little restaurants and bars, and it's becoming kind of like really hip. I could see university students, especially when everything opens back up, start to push that way as well. Instead of having to go downtown and take the Uber ride down there, they can either walk or take a short Uber ride to the Sandwich area. There's a lot of great restaurants, and there's, like I said, there's basically no commercial vacancy rate on that main strip, which is insane considering that I think in Windsor right now we have a ton of vacancy rate, which has been slowly starting to go down even during COVID.
Yeah, good. All great points. Great points, Jeremy. I totally agree with you. My take is that yes, the main strip is exactly what you're talking about, right? Where it can attract a lot of good businesses and good traffic, right? But if you go west of that, then you still see some commercial buildings or some old rundown residential buildings, lying vacant and so on and so forth. Not to say that's a bad thing. I think if you are looking for a bigger project, if you have the resources, you have the time, you have the money, and you have the foresight, I think that's the area that you do want to invest, because, in the next 10 years, Sandwich is going to explode with the bridge coming up. The new bridge is coming up in that area, with all the government programs, the CIP grants that they're given to actually revitalize that area. So if you have a long-term vision, I think that's the place to be. For sure.
I think that's a great idea. And it's an area right now where you can definitely buy large plots of land. I mean, you find a junky house, but a large plot of land there at a reasonable price point. And I mean, the city's overlooking the area too right now to a certain degree. They'll probably let you build multifamily and developments, and you might be able to even get it into a CIP, a community improvement plan, right? There's a lot of opportunity, I think, at this point, especially with houses and everyone looking at the Burr strategy. I think 9 times out of 10, any call I have right now is I want to buy a house in Burr. But there's a lot of people that are actually going from that have already done that and now looking at development. And I think you're going to start seeing a lot of, as you mentioned in a lot of those things, redevelopment coming into play very, very soon. And people are overlooking and wondering why houses are selling for whether certain houses, even the junkie's house, but they're not realizing, not looking at the linear footage of the land and what that can be rezoned, or even if are currently zoned, to build.
For sure. Agreed. Yeah. Absolutely agreed. Listen, we're not going to spend too much time on these numbers because these slides are going to be available to all you watchers out there. If you come back to the group and sign up, go to the videos, search for videos, and you can access this particular presentation. You'll have all the numbers. So I'm not going to spend too much time on these numbers. But very briefly, you can see over here, this is the average house price in 2021. The pink bar here, you're looking at 377,000. almost 378,000 for the month of May. Okay, versus
Sale price.
the listing price. So that's the sale price versus the listing price. So, and then this gray number here is the delta. So what's the difference? So it's still going over ask. If you look at the trend, it's still going over ask, but it's dropping a little bit, right? So 84, 66, 47, 94, 70, and now we had 57,000 over ask. Still quite high there, but I think this is in line with everything else that's happening in Windsor. If you look at last year, the same time, you're talking about 270,000, right? So it's a big jump. It's about $100,000 in 12 months. Just from sales price, right? Don't be shocked. Don't be surprised. That's what's happening in Windsor. For those who bought a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 10 years ago, are probably millionaires by now. It's never too late. We're going to give you the opportunity. See, guys, the whole point of this discussion is for us to identify the strategies that best fit, getting the most success rate, right? That's what we're trying to do. Don't look at the price and say, oh, that's a $400,000 house. Oh my God, I can't afford that. I can't burn that. Yeah, probably if you're in the wrong place, right? So this is what we're talking about in Sandwich. Maybe you don't want to burn a house. Maybe you want to find an old vacant building and convert that into a residential unit. Yes, it's going to take longer. Yes, it's going to take more work, but the upside of that we're talking about is in the hundreds of thousands, correct? So think about that. Okay, let's jump to the next neighborhood real quick. Where are we? We are downtown. Aditya, talk about.
Oh yeah, that's my area. I think.
Oh, that's you.
Yeah,
okay,
go ahead.
Go for it.
Yeah. Oh, that's where I'm at right now. I'm staring at the rent sign. But anyways, yeah, downtown. Currently where I'm situated, and it's a cool little area right now. It's kind of mixed into two. It's kind of we in our systems we have it as downtown, but it also does include the university, or as you might hear from some realtors, area 2. Basically has the university area, part of downtown. It goes basically up to Olette, and Olette is the for anyone that doesn't know, Windsor is a great road to kind of look at, and it kind of goes all the way down into basically South Windsor there, and that's how you determine what block are you on. So if you see a house that's going basically linear from the water, you're going to see that that's going to be, say, 3,000 block or 3,500 block in South Windsor is 35 blocks in the water. You see a property like 200 block, it's usually 2 blocks in the water. So it's a really cool thing to know about, because everyone always wonders, oh, where is this in a relationship where I'm at? Utilize that. So if you see a house, like for example, like 3,500 block of Rankin, which is in South Windsor there, but it's 35 blocks from the water. But anyways, so university, right now, I've been telling people for a while, the university area during COVID got hit massively. It wasn't until January, I think everything in January everywhere, regardless of location, kind of blew up, obviously, because of the market just went nuts. I think we're up 47%, something like that, year to date, and 60% year over year, which is crazy. University area, I think, is still a really hot commodity. As Aditya was saying, the university is going to open up. It's inevitable. No one's going to pay a lot of money to go to school for online school. It's not going to happen. The universities need to have they need to have that culture still, right? So you're going to start seeing probably the universities open up, especially now that we're the most vaccinated area, like the vaccinated country in the world now. Eventually, when things open, either whether it's September or January, I think we're going to start seeing more and more stuff open up there. And it's a really good way right now, because there's still a lot of people that follow other people, and those people are not investing in the university area. I think it's a great option right now for a lot of people that want to get into the dip, because everyone has that dip mentality, to focus on the university area. It's a very high risk for some things that people talk about, the turnover rate, but high reward, in the sense of people were talking about $500 bedrooms. We're pushing past that now. You do the property up right, you can see upwards of $700 per room again. You have to do it, and you need to know how to do it.
700, whoa, that's a lot, man. That's a lot.
There's places getting more.
Okay, is that everybody, or is that somebody you all know?
It depends on what street you buy. It depends on what you're buying. It depends on how well you do it. I mean, if you're gonna have a slumlord property, you're gonna get the type of tenant that that basically becomes the face of your property, right? You do it up nicely in a good street, Rankin, Randolph, California. You get one of the better locations. You're gonna pay for the better location. Don't get me wrong. You're still gonna pay $400,000 or $500,000. But go to anywhere else, Kitchener, Waterloo, go to Guelph. Those houses are 1 point something million.
Right.
I just sold one to one of my clients last month, backing onto the university for $340,000. She's gonna get $600 a room.
Oh yeah, that's too good to be true, man. If you're back, yeah, like that's wow.
Backing onto the university. Her backyard literally ends and the university starts.
You know what?
$340,000.
That still sounds enticing to me. A lot of people, want to stay away from university rentals because of what happened with COVID and so on and so forth. I think it's a mistake. I think it's a huge mistake. Those who are, again, who has the foresight, who want to take a little bit more risky and say, okay, we got to wait out the long term, they're going to make a ton of money, because I agree.
Savio, pre-COVID, what was the hottest area in Windsor? It was the university area.
Right.
That was everyone was talking about the university. COVID happened, everyone dipped and went other areas. They went to Sudbury, they went to the multifamily in Windsor, they went to other locations. The University of Windsor took a dip. It was the hottest spot because everyone knew it was fast cash. It still is there. People are talking about the Indian flights being banned, the direct flights. That's direct flights. Those guys are going to fly to Germany. They're going to fly to other locations and fly to Windsor. They're coming in. Don't let anyone tell you that the university students are not coming in. They're here.
Listen, I'm preempting my next guest. We're going to bring on Marka Egbaba. We both know him. He's the student rental king here in Windsor. Getting top dollar for his places. But one thing I learned from him is that it's not only international students, and in fact, he's not even catering to the international students. He's
absolutely not.
To Canadians, right? Coming out from West, coming out from East, wherever, who are coming for the great school. The programs, like the law program in the University of Windsor, so on and so forth. What do you think these kids want? They want nice, really nice places. Their parents sending them money, paying them, to get out of their house from Vancouver or wherever and come around here, right? So there's a lot of market. There's a huge market out there for sure.
And who do you think's getting $700 a room? That's that guy right there, right? He's got 8-bedroom property, $700 a room.
So it's possible. I love it. Okay, cool. So that's an opportunity that you should not overturn. I mean, that's the university area. Well, how about the downtown core?
Okay. All right. So just like I think anywhere else, I mean, if you look at Toronto, every place has their dirty areas. I think downtown Toronto was pretty dirty when I was there, is when I worked there. But basically, it was a lot more stuff spread out. I think with Windsor, it's more crushed together. So you start seeing a lot more like action and activity and riffraff and all that kind of stuff. There is obviously a homeless problem. There is a drug problem in Windsor. It's unfortunate. I think every place has it. And a lot of it's bunched up into the downtown core. However, there's still a lot of opportunity. And I think we're going to start seeing a lot more opportunity once COVID ends. I've already started turning some of my multifamily and my downtown properties into Airbnbs. I think it's a great play there because, for example, one of my properties is only like a couple minutes walk to the bus station, which is then a short bus ride to Detroit, right? So it's an amazing play there. I'm within a 5-minute walk to OLED as well for the night parties and all that kind of stuff. So I think you can start seeing, an Airbnb positioning there. I still see a lot of redevelopment. The current mayor wants to redevelopment. He says it's probably not going to be him, may not be the next mayor, but he says probably within the next 10, 15 years, you're going to start seeing some of the city redevelop, or they're going to start taking over the land for redevelopment because there's going to be a lot of opportunity. And I think downtown, now that Detroit's cleaned up, and especially when the Windsor, not just Windsor, but everyone is looking at Detroit, because I don't think a lot of people realize how good downtown Detroit is now. It's super hip, super urban, very, very trendy right now. It's actually one of the...
Listen, I was in Detroit, end of last year, beginning of this year. I was paying $200 US a room for Airbnb. A night, $200 US a night. Okay, nice Airbnbs, but nothing like super wow, but that's the price. That's the going rate right now. So I think, I hear what he's saying. I think downtown Windsor, once it's cleaned up a little bit, there's an opportunity over there. There's definitely an opportunity.
There was some really cool things we got to see as well. One of my friends, I think, actually toured I think it's a Bedrock or something like that, which is Dan Gilbert's company there. And they do high-end apartments, and these are people coming down from California, people coming down from New York, who are used to spending $5,000, $6,000, $10,000, $15,000 a month for their properties. This guy is turning some of the old commercial buildings into residential and turning them into nice lofts and stuff. He's getting $5,000, $6,000 a month for his apartments. And some of the units he's doing ultra luxe. But
I believe it.
there is people coming down here, and those people, as you mentioned, are coming down and work in the automotive industry, which is turning into a tech industry now with all the electric cars. So I think, especially with the downtown core, it's a short drive, it's a short walk. You will start seeing a lot of Canadians who have to work in Detroit who don't know Windsor. They may say, "Oh, I've already worked. I've been working and living in downtown Toronto. I might as well come and work and will live in downtown Windsor, so I can commute to downtown Detroit or Detroit, Livonia, wherever I have to go." Right?
We
So
already
we might
have
see
that. We already have that with all the nurses. They want to stay
For
close
sure.
to the tunnel, close to the bridge.
For
They're
sure.
commuting pretty much every day. Essential workers, right? We have a lot of
Yeah.
healthcare professionals who work in Detroit but live in Windsor, who are local Windsorites.
I think you're gonna start. I think you're gonna start seeing a lot of new ones as well, especially now because, as you mentioned, the house prices have gone up. A lot of these people can't afford, especially when they're starting off. It's 3, 4, or 5 years ago, if they're making good money, they can afford a house. But now things are changing, right? So I think you will start seeing a lot more better quality tenants pushing the downtown core there. If you do the property up right and you know your pockets, you can get some really cool neighborhoods that have history and that are owner occupied. And you're going to start seeing a lot more gentrification down here as well, I think.
Love it. Love it. Okay, we got to move on quick. Just going to the chat group over here. Ray asked, listen, guys, if you're watching live and you need a question answered, please ask the question because we can get that professional opinion to you right away. Ray Blanchard, what's up, Ray? How's it going, man? So he's asking, what do you think is the average rent per room for one person for a student rental these days? What do you guys think? I mean, Ray, we were just talking about, the fact that we have one investor who's really doing luxury student rentals, and he's pushing upwards of 700 a room, 700 a room, guy. That's a lot. I'm shocked by that. He's going to be our guest on our next episode, by the way, Marco Agbaba, just to let you guys know about that. But on average, I mean, if you take that anomaly out of the picture, guys, what are we talking about?
Probably you're looking at 450. That's like very average, conservative, no matter like what condition. Okay. If it's at least livable, you're looking at 4 to 500.
So if you're a slumlord,
yes,
landlord, you're getting 450, right? Now we're not trying to promote that, but that's basically what he's saying is the minimum.
I've seen some as low as 350, but I mean, this is the thing. You're going to have a lot of those international students.
Slumlord.
Yes, but this is the thing here. It depends on the quality that you're bringing in. We have some of these people pushing, $300 per room, but they're say $600 per room. The double occupancy. These are not what we're looking at. We're talking single occupancy. One person per bedroom enforced at 700. I mean, that's the thing. As a video was saying, there's a lot of double occupancy or triple occupancy, which is against the law. Fire code states only 2 people per bedroom, but you're going to start. You'll see that. And once again, you have to focus in on good areas. If you're kind of pushing past certain blocks, obviously, the Bridge Street, for example, is stigmatized as a more international street where you're going to get 2, 3 people per bedroom. And that's not if you want top buck, you can't be in those areas.
But we got to be very clear with the audience. If you want to get top dollar, then you got to be patient as well, right? Don't expect that
for sure.
You're going to list it at 700 a room and you're going to have people walking in and be like, okay, let's go for it.
No,
you got to be patient.
You have to offer a lot of amenities as well.
Yeah. Okay, I know, Aditya, you got to jump on to your next meeting very soon, so I'll let you take this slide and then dip out of here. All right.
Sounds good. So. Yeah, so again, this is where pretty much me and Sam lives. My favorite neighborhood. So one of the reasons, this is flooded with a lot of people who love, who have families, kids, want to send their kids to a best rated schools. So that's why, people prefer these pockets. So South Cameron, South Windsor, Roseland, East and West. And so these pockets are more popular for schools, and Malden is also like pretty decent neighborhood where close to all the parks, close to hospital. There's another specific hospital in Malden. So very nice neighborhoods. And also not many people know that St. Clair College main campus is in South Windsor, right where between here, right where. Yep. So, which is in a nice pocket. And also there is only one big mall in Windsor that's also in South Windsor. And pretty much the 401, you literally the 401 starts from South Windsor. that where you enter into Windsor is from through South Windsor. So accessibility to 401. So these are like some great things. And also like my favorite one is like, it's a really peaceful neighborhood where you can enjoy walking in the, area. So what is in it for you? Yeah, safe, exactly. What is in it for you as an investor? So you can do a lot of different things. Of course, our Savio's favorite strategy, ADUs, that I'm working on one right now with the new, if you guys don't know the new strategy with ADU in the basement and have another ADU, a detached ADU in the backyard. So pretty much technically you can have 3 units. That's something would become a popular strategy in this kind of neighborhoods because definitely from last year the prices have jumped up in this pocket. And also you can flip because a lot of homes in this area are bungalows that are built in 50 years ago, 55, 60 years ago. A lot of properties you can find dated but have a sitting on a good size lots like 60 by 100. Some of them don't have garages, some of them have garages, but not as clean as they're supposed to be. So because there is a lot of interest in this pocket, so if you update the home to up to the standards, you bring all the new amenities to the property, it's probably you're gonna improve the property value pretty drastically. So get an opportunity for flipping as well. Again, along with the buy and hold rentals, you doing those ADU stuff.
Aditya, let me add on that because you talk about ADUs. I can't not keep quiet.
Right? I know you're gonna jump on it
for sure, but you've already said it. I think. Listen, I have to reiterate this point, right? If you are into the ADU game, right, and you want to add a secondary suite to your existing bungalow, that's something that we've been preaching for the last 2 years in Windsor, right? Where nobody was doing it before. Now everybody's doing it. I think the next big thing. So there are 2 things I see personally, right, that's going to happen in Windsor, which you need to be aware of. Everybody's watching. One is the detached ADU. Look, if you're looking at any house and you have the opportunity to add a 3rd unit in the back, a laneway house, a coach house, a garden suite, a detached ADU, that is the only way to go because of the price increases that's happening right now. When you go for a single ADU, it's not so nice as it was before. I got to be honest with you, right? You will still cash flow, but you're not going to cash flow the $600, $800, $1,000 a month. That's where the 3rd ADU or the 3rd unit comes into play, right? So look for homes that have garages because all those garages, that's gold. That's gold on your property right there. And if it doesn't have a garage, we can get you a ADU, a detached ADU. We have the resources for that. One agent on Aditya's team, Clark Galley, for those who don't know, he's an expert in tiny homes, in detached homes, right? So we have the resources that can help you out. Look for those kind of properties, guys, where you have a big enough lot that you can add a 3rd unit. That's the first thing. The second thing that we never talk about in South Windsor, Aditya, is the fact that St. Clair College is there. However, when you talk about student housing in South Windsor, it's almost zero, right? It's not like university area or the downtown area where you have a lot of student purpose-built student housing. In South Windsor, you have very, very little stock that addresses the St. Clair College students. So I think that's a huge opportunity. If you can get a bungalow, add a legal ADU, right? An additional dwelling unit, maybe a 3rd one, put in more rooms. Now you have a legal, multifamily, if you will, right? Because you have 2 or 3 units. You can add up to 10 rooms if you can. That'll address a big, big gap in that area. So that's a big opportunity. Okay. So think about
that.
Great
point. Yeah. Very great point, Sab. So guys, I gotta jump off, but I'll check out the comments. If you guys have any questions, I'll respond after.
Yeah, tell us where you're going, Aditya, before you go.
I'll be live on IG for another podcast. So
okay,
it's going to be more about sales. It's going to be more about sales, motivation, mindset.
Okay.
Our good friend Mark Smith.
All right, cool, man. That sounds interesting. I'm not going to let any of these guys go, but I hope he has a recording. I'm sure he has a recording that we can watch.
Of course.
Okay. All right. Have a good one, man. Enjoy that one.
You too.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, bye.
Okay, we keep going. Sorry, let's look at the numbers. I'll take this one, Jeremy, if you don't mind. South Windsor, of course, is going crazy. If you look at last year, this time 457,000 was the average sales price. Today it's 645, right? That's a huge jump. I gotta say though that that jump is a little bit misleading, because what I believe is that it's a lot of luxury, not luxury homes, but the bigger homes, the higher end homes
Yeah.
that are actually getting distorting this figure. Whereas before it was the grandma house, the typical bungalow, maybe a raised ranch if you find them here. That's the typical house that was going before. A lot of people are actually selling up. They're cashing out. Pretty much they're cashing out. These are old Windsorites who have bigger mansions. They're cashing out and they're moving out to the county. That's really what's happening, or to Kingsville or Abbotsburg or somewhere else. So it's a little bit distorted. However, when you go into the details, and we can talk about softening of the market now, Jeremy. I mean, you tell me, because what I see is that there's a lot of stock coming out in the last 2 weeks. If you talk
Oh
about the
man,
area, there's a lot of stock.
has there ever? I mean, let's just say what it is. I mean, the market went up 40%. I don't think anyone was ready for the market to go up 40%. And this is what everyone says about buying real estate and holding it. In the last 12 months, to give you an idea, that I picked up 5 houses, right? My holding, my equity has just in equity, not in the total amount, but my equity has gone up $700,000 off those 5 properties in the last 12 months.
Rich boy.
700,000.
Rich boy.
700,000, and that's 700 grand. I mean, it's crazy, because I can then utilize those money as basically line of credits, right? I don't even have to refund. I can just do line of credits, and I can buy flips. I can buy multifamily, and I don't have to go to the bank, right? This is crazy. So to give you an idea, that was just 5 houses, and it's not like I'm buying $1 million houses here. I'm only I bought a single family for like 155. It was maybe worth 200 grand at the time. So I did buy a little bit under value for sure. I mean, that's what networking is all about. But at the end of the day, I mean, I would have said I probably made an extra $200,000 to $300,000 off the added speculation, which is insane, absolutely insane. Yeah. But Sab, I mean, me and you picked up a property there back in November for 300,000. What's something like that worth today?
No, yeah,
that got yeah, $300,000 for a house in a great neighborhood in South Windsor.
Right, but listen, and that's the issue, right? I mean, you can call it speculation, you can call it investors coming out of Toronto, you can call it whatever you want. The fact of the matter is that the prices have gone up in this neighborhood in South Windsor quite tremendously.
It has. And here's the thing. I would say the under $500,000 market has slowed down. The over $700,000 mark, good luck trying to buy anything right now. So if you are saying, oh, it's Windsor people not trying to spend money, no, it's these people in South Windsor are cashing out their $600,000 houses, and they're now going to $800,000, $900,000, $1 million houses now. I have friends that are realtors that can't. Their clients are losing out on $1 million plus houses.
Yeah, that's insane. That's insane. The good news is that basically I've seen right now in my listings, the emails that you guys set up for me in South Windsor, we have about 15 new listings in the last week. I haven't seen 15 listings in South Windsor in a long time, man.
No,
in a year and a half. So
it's funny because some of them are on the same street now. It's crazy because South Windsor, people are like, oh man, you're going to see 2 houses maybe a week. Now you're seeing 5 or 10 of them. They're all still selling. Here's the thing. We're not having as much offers on one house as we used to. So the 10, 15 offers have kind of went down to 3 to 4 to 5 offers. However, the prices are still selling for what they're worth. So, I mean, you may not get necessarily that discount that you're looking for. You're still going to pay the price. You're just not going to have to compete as many people. That's what you want. You want less competition.
Right. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think the mindset from the seller is still that, okay, Windsor prices are $500,000 for a piece of shit, right? I'm going to get that regardless, right? So the fact of the matter is that there's more inventory, there's more choice out there. Buyers are slowing down for whatever reasons, right? The market is kind of cooling. We have to admit that it's not a buyer's market yet, but I think it's moving more to a balanced market. But the seller's mindset is still that I'm going to get really these crazy numbers for my house, and they've not come to terms to say, okay, you know what? There's not going to be the 15 offers over ask and so on and so forth. So I feel there's going to be a lag, right? So in the next month or two,
this is,
you might see that discount. You might see that, the fact that, okay, you're not getting that many offers. investors like us are going to be like, okay, let's wait for a couple of more weeks, and then we'll go back to that same house that interests us. Maybe they don't have an offer, maybe they'll accept something less, right? So I think
We
there's
are
a lag.
seeing that
There's a month or two
we're
lag.
starting to see the return of, we're starting to see more of the return of conditions, obviously on properties that are maybe not necessarily even improperly listed, but I mean, even looking at the blue mark there, which I believe is the list price, right? You're looking at the listing of the prices are going down because realtors are seeing this. And you can see that this goes back quite a bit. I want to say back in, for example, January, we were listed at 546. We were up to the 502, 523, 577, kind of like, but for the most part, the list prices have been going down. I mean, and in some areas, like houses that were listed for 199 last year, listing for 199 again. And my clients are like, "Oh, this is a cool property. You think I can pick it up for 250?" I'm like, "This property sold for 250 last year. It's listed for 199 again." Right? Because that's what the agents are doing, because they're getting nervous. No one wants to go to their seller and say, "Hey, I got a conditional offer for you," because everyone knows that in this market, you got to go no conditions. I mean, in the last 2 years, I probably wrote 400 or 500 offers. Out of those offers, I told my clients, I maybe wrote 15 to 20 conditional offers out of 500 offers. And I didn't get 500 sales. I maybe got 100.
Yeah.
Out of that.
Guys, this is gold, guys. So if you're looking to invest in Windsor, if you're already investing in Windsor, this is what's happening on the street right now. Okay. If you don't have your ear to the ground, that's why you're coming over here. So there are the takeaway is that basically there are not so many multiple offers anymore. They're still there. The prices are staying stable. We are hoping, or we are thinking there's going to be a time lag for that to actually decrease in price. We're getting comeback of conditional offers. So if you're working with a realtor who's not telling you this information, you are working with the wrong realtors. All right. So you got to hit up Jeremy. You got to hit up Aditya's team, get the guys who know what's happening on the market and can direct you and can address your needs. Okay. So let's move on. Jeremy, what's the next neighborhood we got
sir.
Here?
South Central. Okay.
South Central. Okay.
All right. This is a cool little area right here. It's basically south of what people call south of Walkerville, because it's basically South Walkerville. Devonshire is an interesting area. Devonshire, funny enough, some people still think it's South Windsor. Even my partner, realtor there, right? We had to find a flip on Turner, which I mean, people know from Turner from basically the South Walkerville area. Well, it continues into what's called the Devonshire area, right? Or basically Devonshire Heights, some people refer it to as. So if you ever heard Devonshire Heights, that's kind of the area in there as well. Basically, it's it's to the right of South Windsor. And funny enough, everyone basically calls it South Windsor because when I have my mom, she'll be like, "Oh, I'm in South Windsor right now. I'm at Costco." No. Costco's in Devonshire.
Yeah,
Home Depot,
it's because all that area
areas.
behind Costco, behind
it is.
There's some nice houses there, and they're pretty pricey too. So they try to clump that into South Windsor.
Absolutely. So when you're in South Windsor, you're at Costco. When you're at Lowe's, you're saying, "I'm in South Windsor." You're not in South Windsor. You're in Devonshire. It's South Central area. It's still a great area. I said right off to the right. So you're not in South Windsor School District, but you're still in a great neighborhood. This area is basically a little bit more newer than South Windsor. You're gonna get a lot of like Devonshire. You're gonna get a little bit more like early 1990s houses, early 2000s, mixed between some bi-levels. So it's a really good area to do some secondary suites down there, because you already have the legal basement height with being a newer style house. You'll need to have a little bit higher of a budget because these are newer style houses. Expect them to go from like probably either the high fours, early 500 starting point, and probably roughly around the $600,000 mark. Which is still, I mean, considering some of the houses in South Windsor that are 1950s are going for mid fives anyways, it's a really good opportunity to invest. Another area that I like, and it's basically a little hidden gem, is Remington Park. Remington Park right now is going through a revitalization because it's close to South Windsor, it's close to the mall, it's close to all the shopping you need. People don't want to live downtown. They can't afford to live in South Windsor anymore. They can't afford to live in East Windsor anymore. So they go, okay, what's a great little area as a starter neighborhood that I can get into at a good price, good neighborhood, super safe area. And that's Remington Park. I mean, it's an area that historically had a high cancer rating. It was when things were cheap 10 years ago, and you could buy a house in South Windsor for $140,000. Remington Park, you get a house for like 50, 60 grand. So people had more options. But now when you're approaching $500,000-$600,000, the lower end Windsor user can't afford that. So they're going to start looking at other options like Remington Park, which you can get into for early $300,000. It's a great single family neighborhood. There is a mixture of multifamily there. One of my clients just paid $675,000, I want to say, for a legal triplex with a fourth unit. And he got it vacant. And I want to say that's going to rent out for like $5,000 a month or something like that. No, almost $6,000 a month. Crazy.
Yeah.
Which is a great area. South Walkerville. This is a tough area of South Walkerville because it's not like your normal old Walkerville area. South Walkerville is a little bit more higher end. It's the same kind of style houses or more craft style houses. It's got the regional hospital next to it on Lens there. It's a great area, and it's basically right next to Chrysler, which is an awesome. So a lot of home buyers. I actually just sold my brother's girlfriend's house there. We listed it for $299. I had it sold in 3 days for $450. And this is a small little 2-bedroom, 2-bath house, plus one bedroom in the basement, right? But a tiny little house, no driveway, no garage, sold for $450. But that's South Walkerville. It's a little bit more for someone that likes those old style houses. It's not the greatest area to rent out unless you want to get a higher end rental. Might even make sense to do an Airbnb there, but there's really not much going on. I was going
to say, South Walkerville, Remington, flips is a way to go there because
flips would be the way to go. I would say for sure.
You want the end buyer, right? You're going to have an end buyer any day.
You're correct there. So you can find a nice 1950s interior house there. Put the 2000s. You'll have some.
You mean the one with the green carpet?
Yes. Oh, the green carpets, red carpets, you'll get them all there.
Wallpaper.
Yeah. Okay, perfect.
All right, cool. Let's talk about numbers in this area.
Sure. Basically, last June 2020, we had a list price of $280, sale price of $309 on average. Today, you're looking at $336, sale price of $405. So still basically that $100,000 increase year to date, which is
what are you seeing in the last 2 weeks? The first 2 weeks of June, Jeremy, is that still valid? Because I know in a lot of other neighborhoods, that's not dropping, but it's not as high as before, eh?
I will tell you, I just sold my brother's his girlfriend's house there, right?
Yeah.
Small 2+1 bedroom on Cherner in the heart of South Walkerville, right? And that would be a fairly average house. It's only a 2-bedroom. It's not a 3 or 4. It's not a big house. No garage, no driveway. That sold for $450. It was nice inside, nice house. So I would say you're on average $450 is pretty fair for that neighborhood right now.
Okay. So there you go. So if you find anything else, if you find anything under $450 that you can do a cosmetic flip or something like that,
I would say you could probably get in for high 3s, maybe mid to high 3s in certain neighborhoods right now, especially even South Walkerville. And there is still there's a lot of buyers there still want those nice houses. And these are people from Windsor that will buy these turnkey homes. It's a great area to flip.
Yeah, I think, listen, guys, for those who are watching, you need to know your strategy, right? What exactly are you doing? Are you doing ADUs? Are you doing, a big commercial to residential conversion? Are you doing just a flip? You want a cosmetic flip? This is super important because when you talk to your realtor, he's got to find you, you got to be very specific, because if you're all over the place, you're not going to target. I think right now is the most important time for investors coming back to Windsor. For those of you who couldn't get in, right? For those of you who watched this show and said, Windsor's the cash flow place, I'm trying to get in, but hold on, everything is for freaking $450,000, $500,000, right? I can't get in. Now is super important time for you to keep your ears on the ground because of what's happening in the market. The market is cooling. If you know your strategy, you know the neighborhood, guys like Jeremy can find you and say, listen, that's a $450 house and there's not too many offers on it, right? Let's go in at the list price of $336, for example, right? And see what happens. So sellers will change. They're going to change when they don't have that many offers. They're going to get nervous, right? And if they have to cash out because they already bought something else, they're going to accept those offers. So keep your ears on the ground in areas like this where you're looking for that quick flip. All right. Let's move on, Jeremy, if you don't mind.
Central and downtown. Okay, perfect. So as we said, we've already talked about downtown Windsor, but this is on the other, it's on the right-hand side of Olette. So that's basically right of Olette is where basically you got your Casino of Windsor, the Caesars Windsor there, or Casino Windsor's us older people who have been there for a while have called it. But basically, cool thing about this is, where else in Canada do you have a Las Vegas style casino? Nowhere else. It's the only 5-star casino, a 5-star residency in Canada, actually. It's pretty
I hate it,
cool.
man. I
So
hate it. That's my personal opinion. I hate it. I wanted to get out of there. I wanted to get out of there. You know, because that's
I
what's
love
attracting the crap, like the crap crowds, right? The junkies, the addicts, the freaking, you know.
I don't necessarily think that's true. I think they've been here for a while. There's still changes that need to be done, but I think the city of Windsor needs to do more to increase the area. And they'll have, but there's consequences if they push too much without fixing some problems first, right? There's a
Caesars,
lot of
unfortunately, Caesars is a huge employer, right, in Windsor. That's
They are.
the issue, and you know, it's uniform and it's all unionized and all that. So that's going to be hard. But at the same time, you know, with the casino, the cities, they just have, you know, they attract, you know, flies to
They do.
shit. That's what I don't like.
They can absolutely. So I mean, it's hit and miss there. I love it. I live actually right next to it pretty much, but I
You're in a
can't wait for it to
condo. You're in
open
a high
back.
rise. You're on top of
I
everything,
know.
so that's fine.
I know.
You
No
know?
one, no one, there's no one Superman climbing up my walls, but once again, I have secured parking and I have all that kind of stuff there, which would I live in downtown would I live in downtown Windsor if it wasn't for a condo building? If it was on Victoria Street, I would probably do it, because that's a gorgeous street. It reminds me of Walkerville. It's very high end. It's probably the only really nice street in downtown Windsor. But basically, yeah, I mean, so anyways, downtown area, you're going to start seeing a lot more probably redevelopment here, because there is a lot more vacant land. There's a lot more crappier houses on this side of Olette, on the right-hand side of Olette there. There is a lot of talks of redevelopment, especially on the Riverside Drive area. There's supposedly some new, basically stuff going along the lines of Walkerville, along the Riverside Drive area. But in general, there's going to be a lot more redevelopment, because not only do we have this downtown area, we have Walkerville, which is booming right now. There, people are actually tearing houses down and building condominium projects. We have, for example, a lot of empty spaces in the Ford City area that were turned into brownstones, and they're trying to get like $2,700 a month rent for stuff like that, and supposedly they're doing well with it. Basically, this area here, it's basically a mixed bag. I would say, obviously, you have your downtown core. You're going to start seeing a lot more. I would say this is more of your redevelopment play here. This whole area. Obviously, you have Old Walkerville in this, which is still a great place for single family, which I think is pretty much out of the bag now, in the sense of, doesn't make sense to rent out. I mean, those houses are pushing 350, 400,000 or more. But there's still opportunities for duplexes here. There's still opportunity for multifamily, because it's, you know, that downtown and the Walkerville area is very, very condensed, right? You're going to have a majority of your multifamily, particularly in those areas.
Yeah.
So if you're asking me what I would do there, I would do redevelopment. There's a lot of CIP programs, community improvement plans, that you can do development with them. Obviously, there's a lot of multifamily in that area, and those would be the things I would look for. Price points, once again, June 2020 are $253, sale price $276, so about a $22,000 over ask. Today, we're around $334 list price, sale price being $382. So basically, just north of $100,000 jump there. A lot of this, I want to say, relates to the Walkerville area and the Ford City area. Ford City still and that's the Drouillard Ford City. Basically, a lot of that area was still stigmatized and still is stigmatized. But as prices are going up, that area is becoming a great opportunity for a lot of investors to buy multifamily. And with
getting cleaned up for
those
sure.
with those new brownstones going along the Walker Road area, you're going to start seeing more and more development push into the Ford City area, I think.
Well, you're talking about Walker Road and Oulette?
No,
Wyandotte.
Yeah, Wyandotte, pretty much going all the way up to Tecumseh Road, pretty much.
Yep. Yep. No, I've seen there. I have, I have a place.
So well, at least a Seminole for the most part, and then obviously, I mean, it goes up the Tecumseh Road there, but Seminole's where they're doing a lot more development right now in that particular area with the brownstones, and I think there's still a lot more vacant land, and I think you're going to start seeing more of those things pop up, and it's going to push that Walkerville feel into into the Fort City area. But one thing I want to really touch base with, Walkerville in general was actually voted one of the coolest places in North America, which is really cool. So I think a lot of people, if you have the budget to get in there, it's very hip, very trendy, and you're going to find a lot of good tenant quality because a lot of people want to be in the Walkerville area right now. If for anyone that's in that Toronto style with the old 1920 style houses in Toronto, which is it's basically a lot what you see. It reminds you of that cool feel. There's a lot of great restaurants. It's very trendy. And it's a cool place to be. I love Walkerville.
I listed my two. I have a duplex there, and the tenants left both pretty much within, I don't know, a month of each other. I listed both apartments individually. I rented them out in less than 10 days, both of them, 10 days. And
and probably
top dollar, right?
What's top dollar in that neighborhood for you for a duplex?
So my place is a small, I call it a 2-bedroom in my listing, but it's actually a 1+ den, and I'm getting $1,600 for that.
That's crazy because that's what
plus utilities.
That's what some actual 2-bedrooms would be getting.
Right, and then the lower is a 1-bedroom. It's just a 1-bedroom, and I'm getting $1,500 for that plus utilities. So
crazy.
It's top dollar rent. Anywhere in Windsor for that size, for that square footage. It's only because, as you said, it's Walkerville, right? Old Walkerville, and the restaurants, the bars are there. I was there last weekend. Oh my God, when the patios opened up, I was there Sunday night, and we couldn't get in, man. We drove to LaSalle because we wanted to have sushi.
Oh yeah, I was there Saturday and Sunday and Friday. I was there all 3 days.
There you go, young guys like you, man. You don't take old guys like me anymore. They're like, get in line. So definitely an area for young people, young professionals. You always.
And we actually moved our company over there. So Graham Thompson with Thompson Asset Management, right? We just actually opened up on Walker Road in Cataraqui. So basically just a stone's throw away from Wilstead Manor. So we have a sweet new office there. So yeah, we're really trying to take over that we love the Walkerville area, and we're really situating ourselves in the Walkerville area now.
Cool. All right. Okay, let's move on then. Guys, if you're watching and you have any questions, please ask, right? Because listen, you want to know what's happening in Windsor, the neighborhoods, this is the place to ask it. So, if you're looking or if you heard about these areas and you want to know more details, this is where you got to ask those questions so we can get back to you, okay? All right, East Windsor, another nice place, man. I'm starting to like East Windsor more and more, eh?
It's a great area. So to give you an idea, where you kind of see the Riverside area, that kind of, for the most part, is what we would have as similar to South Windsor. Same kind of year houses. You're gonna have the ranch style, the side splits, the back splits, kind of a really, I would consider it to be kind of like South Windsor in a nutshell. The school districts aren't as good. Obviously, we don't have St. Clair, but it's a really great neighborhood. And what you can do in South Windsor with the ADUs and the SDUs, it's like the basement units down there, duplex conversions, you can do in this area as well. It's a super great area. Going back, like once again, 5-10 years ago, the idea was if you were from South Windsor, you lived in South Windsor. If you're from East Windsor, you stay in East Windsor, kind of thing, right? So you're going to have a lot of the younger folks that want to rent out. They're now young professionals. They maybe just starting their career off, or even older couples as well that don't want to take care of a house anymore. They're going to start renting. Those are going to be kind of your tenants. You have a great tenant population because it's going to be very, very similar to South Windsor. You're not going to have the university. You're not going to have any of that kind of stuff there, but you're going to have a really good quality, and people want to be close to the waterfront as well. When you see where it says East Riverside there, that kind of area is a little bit more newer, I would say, for the most part. A lot of new construction going on there. This is dating back at least probably close to 10 years. We had a lot of early 2010 houses, like the what you see is the raised ranch style, and they're doing those upwards to today. I mean, there's supposedly some of these new raised ranches are starting at like $800,000-900,000 now. Actually, just off of McHugh there, which is just in the East Riverside section there, a whole subdivision I want to said sold out within a couple months.
These
and
are
they were starting at
Jeremy.
Yeah, It's condominiums, townhomes, and single family. And from what I heard, the single family were bigger houses, and they started around $700,000-800,000, and they went quick. There was a waiting list to get there, right? So people are spending $700,000-800,000 to buy a house there. And what's cool about that neighborhood is these $800,000 houses are basically fronting on the Windsor Spitfire Arena, which is pretty cool. That's our OHL team. But beside that is actually one of the cheapest areas to buy in East Windsor, which is called the Little River Acres, or the Villages as we know it as. I actually just picked up one there last week to do a flip. So it's an area that I'm actually investing in as well. They're baseboard, small little properties. You're gonna get like a 20 to 30 foot frontage. Pretty much like almost no lot line kind of thing, right? Because your next house starts. So, the lots are only like 80 feet deep. Like they're not very deep at all, 60 to 80 feet deep, but they're nice late 70s, early 80s builds. They're a baseboard heat, but you can easily convert them to a ductless system there. And these houses were being bought last year for early 200,000s. I had one of my clients flip one, probably the nicest flip I've ever seen in the Villages, and we sold it for like 430, which was a record. I mean, the record was beat. Like the next highest price I want to say was like 370, and then 2 weeks after that, we got beat out for the record for 450. And you can easily still get in this neighborhood for probably under 300,000 or close to 300,000, and with a quick little $20,000 to $50,000 flip, depending on what you do and what you're capable of, you can probably get over $400,000. There's been multiple houses recently in that area that sold it for $400,000. And it's a great area to opportunity. It's called the Villages or Little River Acres. That's a great opportunity right now if you're looking to flip.
Yep. So flippers, watch out for that. I mean, these prices over here that we're looking at is basically not reflective of the Villages, only because we're considering Riverside and East Riverside there as well.
It's a mixture. I would say even to give you an idea, there's a lot of $600,000, $800,000 houses mixed into there. What you can still, you want $600,000 rent out and do a secondary in the basement, right? You can probably get closer to $2,000 a month inclusive for the main floor, rent out the basement for $1,400 and make $3,400 a month, right? For a newer style. But once again, if you're going to spend $600,000 and you want a nicer house, right?
Yeah.
So,
or you go the pre-con way, right? Because a lot of investors are doing that as well. If that's a strategy,
absolutely. To give you an idea, you could have probably. I had a client buy one of these houses 2 years ago for $430. By the time it was built, the remaining houses I think were probably early 500,000s, and today these houses are reselling for over $700,000 in 2 years. So I mean that those people have made a quick $300,000.
Yeah, if you understand the pre-con strategy and you're willing to wait, I think a lot of new investors just jump into it. They get not pre-con but conned into it.
You're gonna start seeing a lot of condos coming up in the East Windsor area, and as we all know with condos, they take a bit of time. So if you're looking for something that's going to take a year or so, that might be a good opportunity. I want to say there's a brand new condominium that's just starting to advertise out there. I have nothing to do with it, but I do know a little bit about the project. So if anyone that's looking for pre-construction, let me know.
Nice. There you go. We have a couple of questions, Jeremy, that I want to just take.
Absolutely. Go ahead. Hit me with it.
What's up, Arun? How's it going, man? He's asking basically, what would you guys price rents for a 2-bedroom updated unit in Old Walkerville, just off Wyandotte? I asked Wyandotte and which and what, it depends. Not really. I mean, Old Walkerville, you're looking at 2-bedroom. I mentioned what I got. Mine's a 1.5. Mine's a 1 plus den. I'm getting 1,600. So, right. So,
well, I mean, are we talking Wyandotte and Parent, because that's where street help is there? Or are we talking maybe like Wyandotte?
Old Walkerville. So you're looking
but that's Old Walkerville. I mean, that's the start of Old Walkerville, right?
Okay.
Well, let's just say
tomato.
Walkerville. So basically, Wyandotte and Parent theirs will be different than like say Wyandotte and Moy. I mean, like Wyandotte, Moy, Lincoln, obviously Chilver, all those kind of areas.
He says Hall. Wyandotte
Hall. Hall's a great street, so that's like one street before mine. It's pretty up and coming area. It's still a little bit rough because you're kind of close to the Peary and kind of close to Parent there. But for a 2-bedroom duplex,
2-bedroom apartment duplex.
I would say If it's a duplex, I would probably say 2 bedrooms. If it's on the main floor, probably like 14, 1,500 plus, depending on conditions. Once again, if the property looks like crap, you could probably get as low as
Oh, updated,
1,200.
fully updated.
Fully
So,
updated.
you can push 1,500, I think.
14 to 1,600 bucks. Yeah, plus utilities.
Yeah.
Probably fairly easily.
Yep. I hope that answered your question, Arun. Or if you wanna get us more details, then let us know. What else? Sion is asking, what up, Sion? How's it going, man? He's asking, do you guys see a push towards Airbnb short-term rentals in the family-friendly neighborhoods in the near future? Family-friendly.
Okay, so that's a good question because actually in my I was shopping in South Windsor there, and some lady was asking me about my real estate because we're talking real estate there. And I let her know that I'm working on one of my Airbnbs right now. And she's like, "Oh, you got an Airbnb?" I'm like, "Oh, which?" And she goes, "Oh, where is it?" So I told her it was downtown. She goes, "Well, we have one next door to our house." And she was in Tecumseh, and she flipped. She's like, the nice neighborhoods. Obviously, people like that because it's obviously a better neighborhood, and you're going to see a nice house. The issue is we have a lot of not in my neighborhoods, which is when you're going to push those nicer neighborhoods, you're going to have the cops called you. The neighbors will call the cops on you. They've already had Windsor Star articles on these. The neighbors were basically fighting the owner to sell the house.
Yeah.
Because basically you're going to have Airbnb for the most part. You're going to have people coming and going in the bars, going downtown. They're there for a vacation, right? They're there to have fun and maybe get a little rowdy. So would I push it in really nice family-friendly neighborhoods? For sure, you're gonna make a lot of money, but you're probably gonna get hated. So, risk versus reward, right?
Yeah, mic drop. Perfectly said. I'm not gonna add anything more to that. Let's move on. I hope that answered your question, Sion. Let's move on to the next neighborhood. I think it's the last one over here.
Fountain Blue and Forest Glade. Okay, this is a great area right here. Basically, we have Fountain Blue and Forest Glade. So Fountain Blue is more of like an older style area there. A lot of houses from like the 30s, 40s, 50s kind of thing. More single family in the Fountain Blue area. There is like some condo buildings. Obviously, you're gonna have your odd apartment building here, and there is actually quite a few apartment units scattered around this area. There's a large quantity, and they're actually a really good neighborhood. So if you have a really good budget, you could probably get yourself a 6-plex, maybe 8-plex, something like that. Obviously, you'd be probably over $1 million for that, but it's a cool little place to get it because it's a safe neighborhood. The tenant quality is really, really good still, because it's not downtown, it's not the West End, it's not South Windsor, it's not East Windsor, so you're not going to pay those South Windsor, East Windsor price points, but you're still going to have a really good tenant quality. Forest Glades are a really good option as well. Sorry, getting a lot of calls there coming in. Apologies there, but basically, Forest Glades are a really good area because a lot of it was built in the early '80s. So obviously, it was built as a cheaper option for people starters to get into the market there. But at the same time, we had a lot of people still. Yeah, so we had the proper height, but we had people still that were very affectionate about South Windsor and East Windsor, and they can afford them because the houses were 140 grand. Now with those South Windsor areas hitting 500,000-600,000, same with East Windsor. Forest Glade is a really great opportunity to get a newer style house, something that has the legal basement heights in an area that will probably run you mid fours to early $500,000. But remember, these are houses that were built in the 80s, not houses built in 1950s. So there's a trade-off. It's basically South Windsor price point, but you're going to get a newer style house.
Yeah.
House prices in June, $419,000, selling for $458. Makes no sense to me. That's weird, but okay. And then May of this year.
Oh, this one over here?
Yeah.
So
and then today's price, list pricing being $432, $864, sale price being $501. As I mentioned, the average price of a house in this area, I was basically saying $500,000. You can get yourself a newer style house, something that has proper basement, and a lot of these houses have great entrances too. It's on top of legal basement height. Yeah. And they're quite large where you can easily get a 2-bedroom down there. And these bedrooms will rent out for $1,400 inclusive.
Yep.
Maybe even more, depending on the quality you do.
Nice. Okay, guys, listen, we ran over time, obviously, because we started very late today, but I want to thank everybody who joined up for the call and, asked the questions that you asked. For those of you who are going to watch the recording, if you have any more questions on these neighborhoods, then definitely reach out to the Wind City Investors Club. for Jeremy and Aditya's contact information. I can send that out to you. Or Jeremy, if you want to put your contact information on there, that'll be great as well.
Absolutely, I can.
We have some takeaways from this particular meeting. We're talking about the Windsor Market update, right? Number one, things are changing for sure. The market is softening, right? So watch out, keep your ears to the ground because you're not having that many multiple offers. Maybe, if you know your strategy and you know your neighborhood that you want to address, you can find a deal, but you need to have the right realtor guiding you, right? Give him that information, give him your budget, give him the pre-qualification, tell him what your strategy is, and we might have it. If I just go back through all the slides real quick on all these numbers, if you look at June last year, we had under list price, okay, in that neighborhood. Sorry, let me go back here. We had very close to list price in this neighborhood. We had very close to list price in this neighborhood. Very close to list price, under list price, very close to list price, right? So I believe in the month of June, it just generally slows down, period. So there's an opportunity, guys. If you're looking in the market, if you wanted to get into Windsor before and you couldn't get into Windsor before, now is the time. Now is the time. Okay. So
for some reason, we're in an interesting point. I want to say this really quickly because we just had the new stress test come in. There's a lot of buyers that have left the market. I've had some people email me and go, "Hey, Jeremy, I want to wait and see what's going on." If you want to wait and see, you will get out. You got to play the market for whatever time. Always buy in, never try to time it. People try to time stuff and it always backfires. Just buy in, look at what's going on. You can see the prices. Look at the 100-year average on the price of a house right now. That'll tell you what you need to know. Here's the thing. We're in an interesting time because as Savvy, as you said, we've had more listings because it being the summertime. A lot of families want to move. They're putting their house up for sale. They're going and moving to another house, right? So this time of year is normally where we have the most amount of listings we will ever have. But the issue is we have a lot of investors that are now taking a side seat, or even just not just investors, but buyers in general, because of the new stress test. The stress test doesn't hurt you that much. There's not that much change there. The government will not they can't kill the market because they'll kill the economy. So the ideology is if you're wanting to buy, right now is a great time. Not only do we have the stress test that's affected the house pricing overall, we still are in a dip on the university market. That's still a great opportunity to take advantage of. There's a lot of opportunity now. And if you're willing to play the game, you will be rewarded.
Awesome. Awesomely said. I'm not going to say any more. Thanks everybody for watching again.
Absolutely.
Come back.
Thanks for having me.
Tuesday, because we got a whole load of people that we've lined up for this Tuesday Talk series where we bring expert investors. We're going to talk about insurance. We're going to talk about student rentals. We're going to talk about other things in business, not just real estate investing. I'm going to preempt it. Infinite banking. Dun, dun, dun. I'll let you think about that one. All right. We got a lot of stuff and a lot of topics to cover every other Tuesday at 7 p.m. only on the Windsor Investors Club. Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks for having me.